Hey guys, it's coreross and welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Today we are busting the brand new season, of course, that is called Ember Rise and brings us Goyo and Amaru. Of course, we've covered the basics of these operators before. Now we're doing some in-depth testing of all their abilities, along with a very surprise change to Thatcher, which changes a myth from a previous episode. So let's start with Amaru, and the burning question I had when I first seen this operator: can she actually avoid frost mats? So let's start with some comparisons. So this is Amaru just quick entering a window as normal. So this is what every operator does when they quick repel into a window, and you can see how far she gets in. Now if we actually do this with the grapple, I was assuming it was actually going to be the same distance, because why not just standardize it as the devs? It'll probably save on some issues and stuff like that. But actually, when you come in with that repel, you do come in a little bit further. It's only a tiny amount, but you do enter further. And as we can see, there is more than enough room for her to actually clear frost mats. So she should be able to go straight over and in, no problem with her repel. So let's take a look at this, and yeah, she just got killed by a frost mat. So if we go and take a look at this and watch it back from the different perspectives we have, we can see that she's easily clearing this frost mat, but as she's over it, it just suddenly grabs her, even though she's nowhere near it. And we can see this very good from my point of view here looking at her. You can see that she is quite literally way above that mat when she gets captured by it. Now back in the day when I did a Mythbusters for Frost, I showed that if you quick repelled in and kept walking forward, your feet wouldn't actually touch the mat and you would get in safely. But the devs went in and actually changed that and made it more consistent, I guess. And this is what we're seeing here. I would like it, to be honest, that she actually just gets over the mat. I think it would be more believable, and it would give her an extra little advantage if that frost mat's placed too close to the window. So I would love that to change, but right now in the test server, this is busted. Now as a little bonus, I'd also like to say definitely drone before you go up a roof hatch as Amaru, because there is no way to stop her getting captured in a frost mat if there is one up there. Now I think it's probably unlikely, but considering the new season is just coming out, there's going to be Amaru players everywhere, so there probably will be a lot of frost players as well, because it's a very good counter. So I expect there will be a lot of frost mats around hatches. So definitely drone first. You can always shoot them through the floor potentially if it's destructible. So keep an eye on that. Now Goyo's shield, it has two elements. It's got an explosive charge, which actually does cause damage. You can make holes in walls and holes in floors, but it also has the fire damage, which doesn't damage anything but players. So it doesn't damage gadgets, and it doesn't damage like walls and stuff like that. Now during the reveal for the new operators, it sounded like what would happen is if the charge was shot, so there's actually an explosive charge on the shield, if it was shot there'd be an explosion and of course fire, whereas I thought if the shield just got destroyed by itself, then it would just be fire and no explosion. But that is not the case. So if Sledge actually comes across and just whacks the shield, the explosive still goes off and the fire still goes off. So that's busted. I was hoping maybe you could somehow avoid the explosive part of the shield. Now another bit of bonus information here is that while testing the shield, I assumed that getting close to this thing was dangerous, and of course destroying it at close range was dangerous. But as we can see here from this little Maverick clip, you can actually destroy this shield and avoid every bit of damage, even up close. So Maverick is able to destroy the shield and avoid the explosive part and the fire part and remain at full health, while very quickly dealing with that shield, which is pretty cool. Amaru can set off the Volcan shield when she enters a window. So of course, if you quick enter a window, you actually kind of bounce off the shield that's been placed there, and of course you still get in. Whereas Amaru, when she grapples in, she gets a little bit further inside the room. So what happens there? Does the shield get destroyed and go off? And the actual result is that she simply clips through the shield and appears on the other side. Now this is something they'll probably have to tweak in the test server, and again, it's surprising that they just didn't make her go the normal amount in, because then they wouldn't have to deal with this kind of thing, where it's kind of janky. But it's certainly busted. She does not set the shield off. NOMAD can launch players through a Volcan shield. Now, of course, this is fun, but also surprisingly practical, because it's very possible you're going to be able to find a Volcan shield at some point and put a Nomad charge on the other side, so that when the defender vaults it, they will then get blasted into the shield and potentially killed. And this is brilliant because it's actually totally practical. It's not going to happen too often, but when it does, it's going to be absolutely awesome, so that is confirmed. Amaru can access the inaccessible window. So this is the window on Chalet that normally you cannot rappel up to. As a defender, you cannot jump out of it. It is kind of this odd window that just no one can interact with. Apart from now with Amaru, she can actually get in that window. This is awesome. This is the good part about this new operator, and it's a real pity that there's not actually more windows like this on other maps. It would have added a bit more depth to this character, but certainly this myth is confirmed. Clash can block Amaru. Now I thought this was totally going to be a thing because she can actually stop people quick entering, but it's not the case with Amaru. Amaru kind of just clips through her. It's definitely a bit janky yet again. As you can see here, she's basically where Amaru would actually land, so Amaru kind of gets pushed to the side. It's definitely not brilliant. I tried up on the roofs as well, and again she kind of glitches out a bit, but certainly Busted Clash does not stop Amaru. Now, just to show you how this actually works with a quick repel, you'll notice that if you're repelling on a window and you want to quick enter, you can't if Clash is too close. If she's too close, it won't even give you the prompt, and Clash can also push up to the window once you start that quick repel in order to just bounce you back outside. Now, there is a bug in the test server which I found while I was doing this, so I reported the bug, and I was able to kill Clash by doing that. So I have reported that hopefully will get fixed before it goes live. Now this is a requested myth, and it's, can the Vulcan shield destroy barbed wire? So this is interesting because to begin with it looked like a no. So we placed the barbed wire in the explosive range of the shield and they survived, no problem. So I went and put another shield up and we tried again, and the barbed wire did get destroyed. So it looks as if the way this is working is that it might be potentially halving the health of the barbed wire every time it goes off. Now this is not really an issue because you're never going to have two of these Vulcan shields probably too close to each other to actually do this to barbed wire. But maybe take this into consideration because it may well weaken your barbed wire, making it easier for the attackers to then destroy it and move in. So it is probably worth avoiding putting it too close to the Vulcan shield. If it's about a meter away, it should be out of the range of that initial explosion, and of course the fire doesn't actually damage the barbed wire, so just keep it out of the explosive range and it should be fine. But that is certainly confirmed. So this made me think, can Goyo's shield actually destroy Maestro's turret? So of course Maestro's turret is harder than barbed wire, it's destroyed by less things, so Maestro's turret really should survive against a close encounter with Goyo's shield exploding. However, that is not the case. As you see here, the Maestro turret got destroyed by the explosive. Now I thought maybe it's a destructible surface, let's go double check this. So we went and we put them down on solid surfaces and did it again, and as you can see, both of them got destroyed. So it's definitely wise not to put Maestro's turret next to Goyo's shield. Of course Goyo and Maestro are very good together, they're a great combo because Maestro can actually set off the shield. So definitely there's going to be a lot of combos out there with these two operators running around, so make sure you just don't put those shields too close to the turrets. And that is confirmed. So we tested Clash against Amaru. Now it made me wonder what will happen with Monty and Amaru, and the interaction is very simple. Amaru just flies right through him like he's not even there, so that is busted. Vulcan shield fire effects can go over objects. Now this is interesting because of course Capital's fire bolts don't go over anything, whereas the Vulcan shield's fire effects actually do, which makes them quite interesting for some maps. There's some places that are going to be very interesting to find out which will work best at, but as you can see here, the fire effect goes over and then down. Now with Capital, that fire effect actually stops based on objects. So you're going to be able to get quite creative here with the Vulcan shield taking this into effect. Some maps that you can have fire drop down over an edge is going to be quite interesting. there's some places on Cafe that might be really cool for this. Anyway, that is confirmed, and quite a nice little difference between the Capital Firebolts and these fire shields. Now, I really wanted to try and figure out if we could chain react Vulcan shields with each other. So if we blew one up, it would blow another one up, and then another one up. Not really for any practical use, but I was just curious if it could be done. So this was the first attempt right here. As you can see, we've got 3 shields. I'm trying to put them as close together as possible, and I'm hoping that when we detonate one of them, it will set the rest off as well. So as you can see here, I'm going to take a shot, and we'll see how this works out. So they're all pretty close to each other, and only one of them went off. Even though the fire reached all the way to Goyo there, it did not actually set off any of our shields. But I thought I'll try again. This time I faced both explosives towards each other, and this is interesting because it did work. We got a chain reaction. However, you'll notice that the second one actually didn't set off its fire. It exploded and got destroyed, but the fire didn't actually go off, even though you can see the explosive in the ground did go off. So that's interesting. It's plausible, but it would be useless. You'd only basically get one proper explosion, and the other ones would be lacking fire if you actually did manage to chain react them all. And I wasn't able to recreate these non-fire effects with any other explosive or gadget in the game against these shields, so I'm assuming this is a deliberate thing just to make sure you cannot chain react these shields together. Thatcher's EMP destroyed by explosives. So of course in a previous episode we went over how the EMPs could now be destroyed by impact grenades. And this was interesting because there was like this spark that would happen when they were destroyed. There would be this leftover husk of the EMP, so it looked very deliberate. People said they'd actually seen it in the game for seasons, and now it's gone. So it's been patched out in the test server, and apparently it was just simply a bug, not an intentional thing. And yeah, it should be gone in the new season. So that is now busted. And another little change to the game, which could be quite significant, is that Warden will be able to move and see through smoke at the same time. Now he's going to have to move slowly and only a little bit at a time, but he will be able to move and see through smoke at the same time, which is going to be potentially quite powerful for him. So that is now confirmed. So there you go guys, that is a range of myths for the new season coming to Rainbow Six Siege. I want to leave you now with a conclusion about both operators, and I'd also love to hear your guys' conclusions about these operators in the comments below as well. So let's start with Amaru. Now, when I first seen her ability, I was very excited and I was looking forward, and I seen some gameplay and I was like really looking forward, but actually getting hands on with her, she's very underwhelming. Like, this grappling hook in Siege just isn't that good or fun. And Apex Legends unfortunately has the perfect implementation of it with Pathfinder, and he's so much fun, whereas Amaru is pretty boring, kind of slow, and it just doesn't work the way you want it to. Like, it's great to spawn, run over, go through a window, be in the building, or run over, go straight up to the roof, you know, really quickly. That's nice, but then once you're actually in the building, you're useless. Like, you can rappel up to like skylights and stuff, but that's it. You can't go out a window, which might be handy to kind of escape potential bad guys or do a whole different flank from a different area quicker than you could normally. And there's also just very limited implementation of the actual grappling hook inside. Of course, you can go up hatches, but not all of them. Now, this might get fixed with the test server as we go on, but even then, just going up hatches isn't going to happen that often. Now, of course, it could end up being very powerful. People might make some good strats with it. But right now, it just feels like she lacks a lot of fun. And one way I'd love for her actual grapple to work is if maybe she could actually shoot it at soft walls and it would yank a whole chunk of the wall out, so that it's kind of used as a breaching charge, just to give her a little bit more utility, because right now, once you're inside, that's pretty much it. You don't use her at all, unfortunately. Now, when it comes to Goyo, he is a lot of fun to play. Like, that Vector on a 2-speed is absolutely great, and his gadget is of course very useful. Although most of the kills I've racked up with Goyo's shield have actually been me playing as an attacker and managing to kill defenders with his shield. In the test server, it's kind of hard to use it very well because of course everyone's bringing explosives because they're expecting for Goyo to be on our team. But I could see this just in normal games being really quite interesting. and because it's just a gadget you slap down and then you can go off and do something else, and then your actual rest of your teammates can use it still, it really feels quite good. Even though it doesn't feel powerful, it doesn't feel overpowered, but it's got the potential to be in some really great strats. And yeah, I freaking love using it. It's definitely different from other gadgets we have and really brings something brand new to defense. So I'm enjoying Goyo a lot, not so much Amaru, but overall the whole season right now on the test server feels really good. Anyway guys, that's enough blabbing from me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you next time.